Ready!
All right, Karissa, can we please have a one-word saw trap-themed prompt?
Bear trap.
Perfect. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Never seen a bear IRL. I know someone has. Ken?
I don't think it's me, so I assume it's our guest. I don't know if I've seen a bear. I mean, maybe at the zoo? Do they have bears in the zoo?
Yeah, we got bears in the zoo.
Then I've probably seen a bear.
We got polar bears in the zoo.
Hey, I want to invite you to the Overtalking Podcast. This is, I don't know. This is the Overtalking Podcast with your host, Ken and CJ. Say hi, CJ. Perfect. This is the show where we talk over TV shows and movies as chosen by our guests, and it's spooky month still, so we're sticking with our theme of classic horror movie monsters and villains, and this week we're doing Jigsaw with the original Saw! Ooh.
It's the original Saw.
That's the original Saw, for sure, yeah. But to hear her experiences with bears, let's bring on our guest. It's Karissa. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh, my gosh. You just tapped into one of my greatest fears, and I'm not sure that you did this. Did either of you know about my real fear of bears?
I did.
No.
Well,
I assume CJ did, yeah.
I'm about to tell you about it because this has actually been top of mind all year. I took a trip into grizzly country earlier this year. My sister and I went to Glacier National Park, and it was genuinely the scariest part of the whole experience for me was just the prospect of seeing a grizzly bear. And in the weeks leading up to going to Glacier, it was like everything around me, the whole universe was serving me up grizzly bear content to the point where I was like, this has to be a joke. Like, this can't actually be happening. But I will report, we did not see a single bear while we were there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was actually kind of disappointed at the end of the trip that I hadn't at least seen one like from a distance. Like, and I was looking because I was like, if I'm in the car, I want to see a grizzly bear on the side of the road or, from a distance. Nope, none. I had my bear spray. I was prepared. We were very bear aware, as they say, but no bears.
That's a fun phrase, bear aware.
Bear aware. Because you're not supposed to you're supposed to be very loud because they don't want to see you. We don't want to see them, but they also don't want to see you. So if you're really loud, usually they'll stay away. So we were making up lots of little songs to sing on the trail to keep the bears away. And most of them went something like this. Bear, 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 because we weren't very creative and yeah.
Yeah,
I have seen plenty of videos on Instagram where it's like a bear charging towards people, and then they all just start yelling, and then it runs away.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're scared of loud noises, right?
Yes, I am still when I open up my Google Chrome, even to this day, I number 1, number 2 headline that I always see is grizzly bear attack in Glacier National Park. Grizzly bear attack in Glacier National Park. I literally just saw one right before we logged on. It was the trail that we were on is closed right now because of grizzlies.
I heard too. It's more that they want you to run. They like chasing things.
Yeah, so if you run, they think that you're prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the charge at you is sort of their way to try to get you to start running. But if you don't and just hold your ground and start yelling, then it's oh, okay.
Meg and I watched a lot of Alone, which is a wilderness survival show. And anytime they see a bear, all of them say the exact same thing, which I'm sure you could say anything, but they all say, "Hey, bear."
Yep.
Hey, bear. I don't know.
We were doing a lot of that too. We were doing a lot of "Hey, bear." And remembering the saying. Do you guys know the bear saying? It's
no. Is this
black
a real
attack?
thing?
Yes, black attack. Brown
lay down.
Lay down. White good night. Because if a polar bear gets you, you're just dead. So night night.
Yeah.
Huh.
And also, where are you coming across a polar bear?
Right.
Yeah,
if you're
really.
running into a polar bear, I feel like maybe that's a you problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, Karissa, it's spooky month. And of course, we had to have you back for that. Something I forgot to ask last week, but that I want to ask everyone this month is with Halloween coming up, growing up, did you go trick-or-treating much? And did you hear of any like local superstitions or any local like
Ooh.
wives' tales or anything like that?
Ooh, that is a really good question. Two-part question. Yes, we did go trick-or-treating. I went trick-or-treating until I was probably much too old to go trick-or-treating, like into middle school, where at that point it's like the houses don't really want you to show up. So
Yeah.
they're like, you're just here for the candy. Like, just take your candy and get out of here.
Yeah.
Middle school is the border, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Had some good costumes. We also had a family friend who threw a big Halloween party every year. So we would always dress up as a family and go to the big Halloween party, which was always a treat and a trick. But in terms of spooky stories, did you two know? See, I'm just pulling out all the things. Did you know? Did you know that I grew up in a haunted house?
Yes, and we have talked about that on the show before.
Yeah.
Oh, darn. Well, that's my only good spooky story.
Okay.
Otherwise, no real good spooky stories. We did have some houses in the neighborhood that were like really scary, and they'd go all out for Halloween. And it was always scary as a little kid to go to the really scary houses because the adults were just fully there to scare the shit out of you. And I'm like, okay, old man, what do you have against me, an 11-year-old girl? But
Some real freaks.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's about it. What about you?
No, like just the razor blade and the apple story is the only thing that I can think of. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any like local ones even. That's just
No.
like a big one you hear about. I do want to follow up on your haunted house story though.
hmm
And I'm going to do a horrible job recapping it. So can you give us like the 5-second recap? Because I know the ghost followed you, and I kind of want to get an update on if recently you've experienced it
sure.
or anything.
Did it follow you to Chicago?
It
Yeah.
didn't. I left, her name was Mrs. Bookman. I left her in Athens, Ohio, in my dorm room.
Okay.
As far as I know, she's still there. She's probably haunting whoever lives in that dorm room now.
missing you.
Yeah, she's pining after me. She's thinking about me. And I'm thinking about her. But no, as a kid, we just had a friendly ghost. She was around, always pulling weird pranks in the house, like turning music on and off, turning all the lights on, turning
She
all
just
the
wanted
lights
to party.
off. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
just having a good time. And then when I went to college, my roommate and I both had experiences in the dorm room with her. So, but then,
Interesting.
yeah, after we left college, it was all over. I kind of wish that she would come back. I kind of wish that she was in the house with me right now. And maybe she is.
Very important follow-up question. Was Mrs. Bookman a librarian?
That's a good question. And I don't know the answer.
I feel like
Oh.
you should be.
She knocked books off shelves ever?
No. Mostly she would like trip us walking down the stairs. And it definitely wasn't just because we were all clumsy. It was definitely her. Yeah. And she would show up in photos as like an orb, which sounds made up. But every single family photo of us from that time, my mom has like a big weird orb on her. So explain that.
I can't. Gotta be ghost.
Has to
Gotta
be.
be ghost.
Has
Yeah.
to be a ghost. It's the only explanation. Eric
That's
doesn't
right.
believe in ghosts, so he wouldn't be very fond of this conversation. But until he has a paranormal experience, I think he'll be skeptical. But someday, I hope he has that experience.
I'll be honest, I am on Eric's page, but I think it's
No.
fun. I think it's fun to entertain it. But
You just wish
yeah,
your
I don't know.
husband gets haunted? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. I wish he was haunted. CJ, have you had any paranormal experiences?
None that come to mind. We have a webcam set up in our cabin up in Minnesota just to make sure that
Ooh.
like if a storm rolls through and breaks a bunch of shit, or if somehow for some reason somebody would to break in, I don't know what the hell you would steal from there. But my mom likes to show videos of that because it's like the black and white kind of like
It's
security
creepy.
camera type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
Ooh.
almost always just a fly, I think. Like just buzzing
Yeah.
around. You're like, oh, did you see that? Like something darted across the screen. It's like, yeah,
No,
a bug.
CJ, it's ghost.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
ghost.
I have seen these
Or ghosts.
videos. I think sometimes it's definitely dust in the air,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm open to it. I want to see it. So
I'm of the like I believe that at least the laws of physics, like energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
that's what they say.
So then if you die, like we literally have electricity in our bodies and stuff like that. I do feel like it has to go somewhere.
And
Got to
you
go
think
somewhere.
Anyway, I don't I don't want to debunk too far. I think I genuinely enjoy this stuff because like I watch YouTube videos of like spooky stuff like what you recorded at your lake house, CJ, or just people's recounting of ghosts that they experience as well. So I don't know. I really enjoy it.
Okay,
that's where
big
I'll leave it.
question though. What's scarier, ghosts or aliens?
Oh,
Scarier
probably
aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens are scarier. Okay, and why? Tell me.
Because they're real.
Because they're real, yeah.
Okay, you've been talking to Eric. That's what he says too.
No, I mean that's well, like ghosts can't normally touch you, or maybe they can.
Are you touched by aliens often, Ken? Have you been touched by an alien?
We don't talk about it on the show. It's not PG.
That's what therapy is for.
I
Yeah.
love the idea that ghosts aren't real and aliens are. That doesn't make any
Aliens
sense.
have
What
be.
it does make sense.
The universe
Aliens
is
are
so
real.
big.
Sense.
Yes, there's for sure aliens.
We just
They
don't
may or
know
may not
about
have
them.
been here.
I
but
mean,
like,
I agree with you, but you can apply the same logic to
Good.
ghosts.
No,
I don't know about that. No.
you can't.
Oh my god.
There might be some creatures similar to what we picture as ghosts somewhere out in the universe. That's a possibility. But
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Huh. Are you saying that ghosts are aliens?
I mean, it could be that they're, parallel universe kind of thing, or like
Mm-hmm.
ghosts kind of like slip through a different universe into ours for a second.
Oh, I love this. I genuinely wish we could pivot the podcast to just talking about paranormal shit like this.
Hey, I'm always up for it.
Have you guys heard of the thing that a soul weighs 21 grams?
Yeah.
That they
Excuse me?
that they
Mhm.
they like measured a person on like a scale, and then as they
moment
died,
of
the
death.
weight went down like
Yeah.
21 grams or whatever.
That's real. There's a movie called 21 Grams, which is not very much about that, but yeah, like that's a real thing.
I love that. I love that so much. And it tells me everything I need to know about why ghosts are real.
Ken, I'm just gonna say I don't think that is real.
It's real. I've
No,
heard
it's
that.
not.
Or maybe this is a wives' tale. Maybe this is
It
an
is.
actual like
Yeah, in
21
pop culture.
grams.
There was a paper published in American Medicine, but it was in 1907 and later was very heavily criticized.
Oh, okay.
They didn't do
Well,
peer
there-
review back then.
Yeah.
There is a real movie, and maybe we should cover it on the show sometime.
So because there's a movie, it has to be real.
It's real.
The movie's real. Oh, that's what I meant.
There is a book by Mary Roach about called Spook. Science tackles the afterlife. So she goes around and interviews actual scientists studying this sort of stuff. Highly recommend it. Any of her books are incredible. But she goes and interviews people, and Ken, I think you would like it. Like a lot of people have interviews of like reincarnation, where like these children know details about somebody's life that they absolutely should not, and creepy stuff like that. And they address the 21 grams thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
That
Cool,
shit
yeah.
always I love that stuff with like a little kid who knows things that they shouldn't know.
Mhm.
That is so funny to me. I love that. I want more of it.
This is great. Do either of you know like of podcasts that talk about this stuff? Like I feel like that's my next rabbit hole.
Yes, Paul Giamatti's podcast.
Oh, Paul Giamatti's podcast. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he co-hosts it with some like university professor that actually knows what he's talking about, like in
That's
philosophy or
cool.
something.
That's very cool. I was just going to say, unfortunately, I do still listen to Last Podcast on the Left, and they sometimes get into paranormal stuff. I think that I know much more about the paranormal than maybe I'd like to admit from that podcast, but it's just kind of sprinkled in. It's not the main focus of the show, but every now and then you get a nice little paranormal episode.
I think I follow them. Do they release like a 31-day challenge of watching horror movies?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe that's not them. Never mind. Some podcasts that I follow that I don't actually listen to
Totally.
releases like a themed 31 horror movie watching, where it's like day 1 watch an anthology movie, day 2 watch like a ghost movie. Or something
That's
like
cool.
That, which is
That's
really cool
cool.
that they put that out there. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Letting you still choose the movie, but narrowing it
You get
down
some
to like a
guidance.
category.
Totally. I like
yeah.
that.
And you get a variety of stuff too,
Yeah.
just inherently. Yeah, it's cool. I can never stick to that though, because I don't know. So I am doing that right now. But like, there's days where I just don't have time for a whole movie, and I'll just put on
Totally.
like something that qualifies, like a Goosebumps episode that's like 20 minutes
Totally.
long. But yeah, it's still fun.
That's fun though. We're actually right now doing Hitchcock. So we've
Ooh,
watched
nice.
several old Hitchcocks in the last month or so, which has been fun because I've never seen any of those, and they're not maybe not traditionally like horror, but they're thrillers and they're fun and they're spooky. I've been really enjoying those.
Are you watching them because of the podcast with the love guy?
We sure
called.
are.
Okay.
You know it. Yeah. In Gorley, no. What's it called? I don't.
In Someone We Trust.
In
with Gorley
Voorhees
and
We
Rust.
Trust with Gorley
Yeah.
and Rust. That's
Matt
what
Gorley
it's
and Paul
called.
Rust.
Matt Gorley,
Yeah.
Paul Rust. Yes, they're talking
Two of the
Hitchcock right
funniest.
now.
Okay.
So that's what we're
Cool.
doing. It's been really fun.
Nice.
Saw Rear Window for the first time also recently,
Ooh,
which
so
again is
good.
not really horror, but kind of in the same genre space. Lots of old stuff right now. I've been enjoying it.
Nice. I recently went to the Music Box to watch Dial M for Murder because they were showing in
Yep.
3D there.
Saw that for the
and
first
then
time
I
recently.
listened to that podcast episode too because I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
I don't
TJ?
think I've seen any of his stuff. I think
What?
that's a huge blind spot.
Psycho even?
No.
Huh.
The original Psycho? No. I've seen the
Yeah.
other one.
It's
The
very
remake?
good. It's
Yeah.
worth seeing.
Oh yeah. Wow, I'm surprised we haven't covered. Yeah, you really have some like deep cut blind spots we gotta cover at some point.
I had an idea that I'll pitch live on the air that Ken has not heard, but I don't know if you saw they came out with a remake of the movie The Crow.
Oh,
So I was going to say
yeah.
we should do Bird Month, and then we could watch Hitchcock's Birds as well.
I've never seen The Birds.
I've
There you
never
go.
seen it either.
We could do The
Cool,
Birds,
yeah,
the original
let's do
Crow,
it.
the remake of The Crow, which I hear is terrible, but
Yeah, it's terrible. The original's cool, or at least the lore around it. I feel like we could talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I'm down.
Bird Month coming soon.
Bird month, some month. I think we've got a lot of
Someday.
months busy coming up, but yeah, probably in the new year.
Hit us up on what bird movie we should watch.
What bird related content can we add?
All right, we're 20 minutes into the episode. We have to take a break. We'll be right back to talk about Saw and more coming up on the Overtalking Podcast.
The Angry Birds movie.
Oh my
Great.
gosh. What about like Chicken Run?
Ooh.
Ooh, chicken would be good.
No, we're doing the Angry Birds and the Angry Birds 2.
Hello, Adam. Dr. Gordon. I want to play a game.
The Jigsaw Killer.
Paul, find the path with a razor wire.
Technically speaking, he's not really a murderer. He never killed anyone.
Dr. Gordon, your aim in this game is to kill Adam. If you do not, then Diana will die.
He finds ways for his victims to kill themselves.
And we're back on the Overtalking Podcast, joined once again by longtime returning guest Karissa, and we're talking about
Can I miss
Saw.
the voice? Where's the voice? I want the voice.
I want to play a game. We're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. You have 30 seconds to describe for someone who's not yet seen Saw what it's all about. Ready, go.
All right. We've got Adam and Dr. Gordon. They wake up in a nasty, nasty bathroom. And they are trying to figure out what the heck they're doing there and
What
how
the
the heck
heck?
they're going to get out. They
Oh.
find some tools that may or may not assist them in their escape. But
10 seconds.
upon reflection, they think maybe they are the victims of notorious serial killer
4, 3,
Jigsaw.
1.
Yeah.
I thought about trying to do the voice and just immediately chickened out and didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty good synopsis. I feel like the people in Saw would be able to figure out ways out of the traps better if they were drinking Magic Mind.
The mental performance shot that you and I have been drinking every day.
That's the one, Siege. Yeah. We love it. We've talked a lot about the benefits we both receive from drinking it every single day. But one thing we haven't really talked too much about is how easy it is to get it. We both have a subscription to Magic Mind, and it just shows up at my door every month. And I pop it in the fridge, and I drink one a day, and it's super, super easy.
It's so easy that if you go to magicmind.com/overtalkingpod20, you can get up to 48% off said subscription or 20% off a first-time purchase.
Yeah, you can do a one purchase if you want, but honestly, the subscription is the way to go. I mean, it's just recurring. You got it every day. Super, super easy. Again, that's using code Overtalking Pod 20. That's OvertalkingPod 20 at checkout to get either 20% off a one-time purchase or 48% off that subscription.
And Ken, did you know that Magic Mind donates 5 cents for every bottle sold to mental health charities and services that assist impoverished and homeless communities within the United States?
I did know that.
I think that's pretty dang cool.
I don't know why we haven't been talking about that, but yeah, that's really awesome.
That is awesome.
So yeah, get your subscription to Magic Mind today. We love it. We drink it. It's great.
Helps you be productive, helps your brain keep going. It's got all that natural ingredients like matcha, lion's mane, nootropics, adaptogens, all the things your brain loves.
But yeah, they didn't drink it, so they're stuck in this scenario in the movie. Are they? Have you seen all the sequels, CJ?
Spoilers, some of them are dead.
CJ, have you seen any of the sequels?
Yes. I don't remember which ones. I've seen a few. I remember watching... And Ken, I have to assume this was with you, probably. So
maybe, yeah.
I can't. It definitely was not just me at home by myself throwing this on.
I'm sure it was not. Yeah, Karissa, have you seen many of the sequels?
I have seen all of them.
Okay, same.
We finally finished all 10 of them last year.
Wow.
But my favorites are obviously 1, 2, and 3. They are, and I imagine, CJ, that you've probably seen 2 or 3.
Yes, I think at least 3.
Those 3, from my perspective, are gold. And then it kind of, it goes downhill pretty quickly from there. But I have seen all of them. I do enjoy it as a complete story. And Ken, I assume you've also seen all of them.
Yeah, multiple times. And yeah, as a complete story, it's great. It's just individual movies. And I remember thinking this when I saw them in theaters, but like, man, they recap a lot of stuff. And it's like the timeline's so convoluted. Like, there's no way someone really had the forethought to plan out different movies way ahead of time so that he could continue killing people after he died. Come on, man.
I love that you brought that up because I agree. There is no way that when they made this very first movie that they had all of these twists and turns and connections and everything planned out. But it doesn't even matter because with every new reveal that someone from the past was behind it all along, you're like, this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen. I love this. I love this.
Oh, yeah. It still feels like a really unique epiphany every single time it happens, but it happens a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. It loses its shine pretty quickly. You're always like, okay, who from the past is going to come back this time? And, but it still continues to surprise me in every subsequent movie somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see the latest one? What was it called?
Spiral or whatever? Is that it?
No, there was one
Spiral,
after that.
The last one, Saw X.
Oh, Socks. Yes.
Socks. Yeah. Yes. Socks. I did see Saw X.
It's technically Saw 2, if you think about it.
It is. I always want more Jigsaw backstory. So anytime we get some, Jigsaw backstory or excessive flashbacks with our boy Tobin Bell, I love it. So bad movie. Good story.
Yeah, not the best movie, but Jigsaw goes on vacation is kind of a unique premise.
Yeah.
Is that really what it is?
I guess you'll have to watch and find out.
Yeah. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. Well, CJ, I was shocked that you had seen this first movie at all.
Too.
In fact, when Ken and I were scheduling this behind your back because we couldn't include you because I thought you were going to say no, we both said, like, I doubt if CJ's seen this, but you have seen it. When did you see it?
Probably when it came out, I think. Like high school? Is that what that was?
Oh, you know what? I actually remember going to watch a sequel with you in the theater, I think.
See? It was your fault.
Yeah. It was such a big deal.
It was.
Because it would come out like almost every year. And so it was just a thing people would go to watch.
I think it was literally every year, like around Halloween time, a new one would come out for like 9 or 10. No, not that many years because there are only 10 movies total. For like maybe the first
5 years
5.
in a row.
Yeah. Because I would go every single year. And I was probably too young to be doing this because the first one came out in 2004?
Yeah.
I saw all of those first.
You saw
movies in the theater. I saw all of them in the theater. My dad took us. So it would me and my sister and my dad every Halloween would go see the new Saw movie. And I'm like 10. and we're like cheering. We're like, yeah, I love this shit. Good times. Good times.
So I don't know if you guys can believe it, but this is actually the 20th anniversary of Saw.
I
That's
know.
right.
I saw that.
They're going to be re-releasing it in theaters actually this upcoming week when this is being released. So October 20th and 23rd. And it'll feature a special intro from Jigsaw himself, Tobin Bell.
Wow.
Wait,
so
but
if you wanna,
I only want the intro if it's Jigsaw. I don't want Tobin Bell. I want.
I want you to watch this movie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just the puppet talking to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are some misconceptions that the puppet is Jigsaw, but I want to be clear that the puppet's name is Billy.
It's actually Billy. Yes.
It is Billy, which is the silliest name.
Yes.
He's a pretty spooky little puppet. But no, our boy John Kramer, he to me is such a quintessential horror villain. I can't imagine a better villain.
Yeah, they struck gold for sure. I mean, the casting in this movie is kind of wild considering, I don't know how much you guys know about how this movie came about, but this is like James Wan's and Leigh Whannell's first like feature film.
Yeah.
And they're huge horror people now.
Mm-hmm.
And this like launched their career, and they were just two people trying to make movies. And this was supposed to be direct to video, wasn't supposed to get a wide release, but they've got great people in this movie, like Danny Glover. They've got Princess Bride guy. You know, I'm surprised that it was supposed to be direct to video because it's, you know, it's star-studded cast and it's like an incredible movie. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I will say not so much fun on a rewatch when you know all of the twists.
Really? I
Yeah.
still enjoyed it. I don't know.
It's still like a
rewatch.
good movie, but like I remember it being a gigantic reveal, and then now rewatching it, knowing the entire time, you're just like, "Yep," and that guy is that guy, and they you know them, and like you're just kind of waiting for the.
Believe it or not, listeners, we have not spoiled it, and I don't think we need to because
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
No,
We
there's
can
no
just
reason to spoil.
refer to it, but like, yeah, it's
If anyone listening has not seen it, highly recommend. Even if it's just for that twist at the end, and that's all I'll say about the twist. It's just a all around good time, and like you said, CJ, on rewatch, you know this movie is 20 years old. You can see the cracks in the facade a little bit. This wasn't like a high budget movie. The acting isn't always great, despite having some amazing talent. The effects are pretty bad, but that makes it fun and I think digestible for someone who maybe otherwise would avoid gore because the effects aren't really that realistic.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about what version of the movie did you guys watch? I watched the extended version on HBO Max, or just Max. And I'm not sure it was extended. Okay. It's CJ, what did you watch?
I watched the same version as you, Ken, which is 1 minute shorter than the normal version.
Yeah, it's 1 minute shorter.
Not make any sense.
I didn't notice any real gore, and I was wondering if it was actually maybe the edited version. But when he cuts off his foot in the version that you watched, Karissa, do you see him actually doing it?
No.
Okay, all right. That's supposed to be like a Berenstain Bears thing for me, but like they didn't show him actually cutting off his foot. It's just a little bit of blood when he starts to saw it, and that was it.
Exactly. It's like a lot of the stuff that you know is happening, you don't see. And yes, your mind fills in the gaps, but like there isn't like a ton of on-screen gore.
I think that's smart.
I think so too.
I think it harkens back to Longlegs and that they hand away and you don't actually see the people die. They're kind of off screen.
You're exactly right.
And by harkens back, I mean, you know, it came out
Informs
this year.
20 years later.
Yeah, 20 years later,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's smart. I think then you're able to have more people sort of digest it and tolerate it because it is.
Yeah, and it's great that they stuck with that for the entire series.
Are you being serious?
No,
I was going to say.
They for sure like go way down the horror torture porn path.
That's what I was going to say and I don't know if I'm just getting old, which I mean, I am getting old, but I feel like in the later movies, I would get way more squeamish. And like, even in recent years, when I was watching some of the newer Saw movies, like Socks, as we discussed, I would get like grossed out and I'd have to look away. And like, I don't think of myself as like a squeamish person, but maybe it's just because I thought I could handle it from these early movies where we're not actually getting a lot of that. And then when they lean into it, I found that I couldn't handle it quite as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, they go full, like all out, like pushing the boundaries of like what they think audiences can handle. In this first movie, it's just exploring the idea and more so a vehicle to, I mean, there's a lot of different things going on in this movie, right?
Yes.
Like it's not just the game. It's understanding how they got there. It's understanding who the killer is, who the killer is working with, which is multiple different people. Yeah, relationships. Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Oh, the police aspect too.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's going on.
Did this movie kick off the escape room craze?
It probably did, actually.
It probably did.
That's what I was like, oh, this is an escape room. Is that where this started?
I mean, it probably really helped people get inspired to want to do them. So.
Yeah.
Because there's people watching this movie and being like, I would have figured it out immediately. Like, I don't know, would you?
Well, if they're drinking Magic Mind, they probably would have. But...
Well, obviously.
Yeah, Ken and I would.
Easy. Obviously have it. Yeah.
I did. This is something that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Magic Mind?
We see several, Magic Mind for one, but we see several traps in this first movie. And I wanted to get both of your perspectives. Do you think you would have what it takes to get out of a Saw trap?
No.
So is the question, do I have what it takes to cut my own foot off in order to escape?
Yes. Yeah. The question is, you find yourself in a nasty, nasty bathroom, and the only way out is to saw off your own foot. Are you doing it, or are you not doing it?
Okay, realistically, I think I could do it, but I can't do it if it's timed. I need the full amount of time. Like if I'm in the bathroom sawing off a foot, I could probably eventually build up the courage to do it. But if I have like 60 seconds to cut open my own stomach to get a key out or something like that, no.
Yeah, that's not a pressure.
Me either. I was reflecting on it today, and I just don't think I have the will. I don't have that kind of will to live. I would be like, it's my time. Like, goodbye.
Yeah. I guess this is it.
Just crumble into a ball.
Something's gonna kill me. I guess it's this one. I guess. I guess
Who saw
I'm
that
not.
coming out? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is this now? I get all of the traps mixed up because I've seen all of the movies. But is this the one too where there's a key implanted like behind someone's eye? No. Oh. That one grosses me out so much. Oh,
eyeballs are always gross. They're like squishy and make pop noises and stuff.
Yeah, no, gnarly. And Ken and I were comparing notes on our other favorite trap from, I believe, the second movie, the Pit of Needles, which is
syringe pit.
The syringe pit. A classic syringe pit.
Oh. But that's I think that's my favorite movie of the series. I don't know why. I think it's just because there's a house full of like multiple different traps. Yeah. And it's just fun.
It's an excellent.
Saw Home Alone house.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I love the second one. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Sucks that the wet bandits got caught and put in the saw house.
Well, believe it or not, it's time for Hey, Did You Know That?
Hey, did you know that?
That's right. For new listeners, this is the trivia portion of our show where we pit our guests and CJ head to head to see who knows the most about what we watched. Karissa, CJ, are you ready to play a game?
I'm so ready, and I'm going to be so embarrassed if I lose.
I want to play a game.
All right. First question. Just closest. How long did Danny Glover film for Saw?
Oh, boy. He's a big name. I would say they had him for less than a week. I'm going to say 3 days.
I was going to say 2 days. I think you're on the right track. Very short.
CJ gets the point, 2 days.
Nice. Good work,
Very short. They crunched it in because he's too big of a name.
I figured one day like without the makeup and one with the makeup. And then that was it.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. All right, next question. So given that, how long did filming last for the whole movie?
Okay, same logic. Not a huge budget.
Not a lot of set pieces.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm logicking my way through it. Logicking, is that a word? Less than a month. I'm gonna say 3 full weeks.
Okay, so 21 days.
21 days. Let's say 21 days.
Okay.
That's a good guess. I'll say a bit more, maybe more towards a month, like 28 days.
Ooh, 28 days later. No, yeah, Karissa was closer. 18 days.
18
Really short.
days. Wow.
Yeah, pretty quick. And yeah, I think we mentioned this before, but like they had like no budget for this movie, but it became like it is one of the most profitable horror movies of all time. I think probably only beaten by maybe Paranormal Activity or Blair Witch.
Yep, it's up there. And
Yeah.
I have one piece of trivia that helped me answer that question, which I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself in your trivia game. But that they like didn't have at the end of shooting, when they went into editing, they didn't have enough for the movie.
Yeah.
So they ended up using a lot of like test takes in like the final cut, and also just filling it out with like other kind of garbage. So I imagined that they weren't spending a lot of days on this if at the end of it they didn't have enough footage.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the because I saw that too. A lot of the like security cam footage is additional stuff they threw in that was like just test footage. So you see them like waving their hands around. It's probably because they were just like showing what the range of view was for the camera. It's kind of funny.
One of my other favorite pieces of trivia related to this is like they didn't have a budget to do like car chase, and maybe this isn't in the first movie. Maybe this is later.
It is. Yes.
And so if you rewatch the car chase scene, it's so obvious. It's so obviously just two people sitting in a car, and there's a shaky cam, and they're going, "Whoa!"
Yeah, no background or anything. Yeah,
there's no background. It's just smoke around the car.
Yeah,
and they cut it really, really quick, where it looks actually just kind of stylized. Which works, but
it does work. But you look closely, and you're like, "Oh, that car is stationary."
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because they cut back to it, and it's just no change. Just them. So funny. All right, well, getting back to trivia. Next question. This is multiple choice.
Ooh.
Early ideas for this film had Adam and Lawrence trapped in what other confinement? Was it A, a car, B, an elevator, C, a basement, or D, a shed?
I'm going to say basement.
Yeah.
I'm going to say basement.
My logic for basement is that you still want something with a comparable size. An elevator would be cool, but then there's like nothing you can do really.
Okay, yeah, basement is not right. It was elevator.
Wow, that would be good. That would have been good.
It would be fun, but I think probably I didn't go with it for the same reason that CJ pointed out. It's like that's kind of cramped.
Yeah, not enough space, not enough nooks and crannies to hide little clues.
Right.
And
you can't have like fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although one of my very favorite horror movies, which is really bad, takes place in an elevator. It's called Devil.
Yeah. I watched that, I think, last year.
Oh, it's
I think
so
on your
bad.
recommendation. It's not very good.
It's bad, but it's fun.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Okay, this is very open-ended, so and Karissa, it sounds like you didn't rewatch it for this, so we'll see if you know this or not, but the identity of this is a bit of a spoiler, I suppose, but not really. The identity of Jigsaw's killer is revealed earlier in the film during a flashback. Did either of you catch it? There's a bit of a clue in one of the scenes that just is like, oh yeah, well that must be the killer.
I think I'm confused by the question. There's a hint of Jigsaw's killer?
Oh, I'm sorry. The identity of the Jigsaw killer.
Yes.
I misread that. Sorry.
Then yes,
the
I know.
The identity of the Jigsaw killer is revealed early in the film during a flashback. Do either of you catch what it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do both of you know?
Yes.
Okay.
I think if I'm understanding the question right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nervous. I don't know if I understand.
Do you want to? Should we chat it to Ken?
Did you say chat?
Chat it to Ken.
Get it right over.
Okay. I'll text it to Ken.
Huh. They cut back to that same scene.
It's not quite right.
Not quite right.
I mean.
Okay, I just sent you something.
Yeah, you both didn't quite understand the question. That's okay. That's on me. You both said patient in the hospital or Lawrence is at work teaching residents. And yes, one of the patients is, what's his face? What's his real name?
John Kramer.
But yeah, so what I was getting at, I'll give you guys both a point just because that's the right area of the film.
Amazing.
What I was getting at is in front of John Kramer in bed is a little table with a notebook on it with a sketch drawing of the reverse bear trap.
No way.
Yeah, so they telegraphed it out a little bit, but I mean it's really quick, and you'd really have to be looking for it to see it. But I thought it was interesting. I saw that piece of trivia before rewatching it, and I was like, oh yeah, sure enough, there it is.
Huh.
I'm gonna have
kinda cool.
When I rewatch this, because got to rewatch it at least once a year. When I rewatch this for this year, I will watch for that because I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. And then this is the final real question. True or false? Tobin Bell is actually laying in the middle of the room for all of the bathroom scenes.
Okay, I'm wondering if this is a trick question because where my mind went is I do believe that there is someone laying there the whole time, but is it Tobin Bell or is it a body double? I'm just going to answer the question as yes.
I'm going to say false because there's lots of shots where you don't see the guy in the middle. So I hope that they wouldn't just like keep him down there while they're setting up different camera angles.
It's true. Yeah, he laid there for the whole movie.
Yes,
yeah.
I feel like I did know this. I have heard this before. Didn't they give him something to like, and not like a muscle relaxer, but like something to like slow his heart rate or something so that he could
I
like.
think you're thinking of one of the movies.
Oh, okay, maybe
they gave him something to slow his breathing and heart rate.
Yeah, I think that's
like
probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not real, but I still got the point.
Man, that guy, I hope they paid for his physical therapy after that.
Right?
Well, so was Tobin Bell even that big of an actor at that point? Like, this is really what I feel like most people know him for. I'm sure he was in a lot of other things too, but maybe that's why they were able to get away with him just laying there for the whole movie. I don't know.
I have never seen him in anything else. And if I did, I would be shocked because I would say that's the Jigsaw Killer.
Yeah. All right. How are we doing on points?
So that's a spoiler, right?
Yeah, we spoiled it.
Oops.
That puts Karissa up 2-1.
Okay. This might be the final question. What is the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter score in percentage? Closest without going over. Karissa, since you're the lead, you'll go first to give CJ the edge. This is the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes in percentage. Closest without going over.
I'm going to say, I'm going to shoot a little bit low because I have a love for this movie that I think not everybody does. I'm going to say 79%.
Okay.
Ooh, I think higher. So I will say 80%.
Okay. This hasn't happened for a little while, but no one gets the point because
we both went over.
Both are over. Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 50%.
Are you kidding?
I was surprised, but yeah, it's like surprisingly low. I don't understand.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
Weird.
I assume like the critics were turned off because it was gore. I don't know.
Maybe.
But,
I'm just trying to imagine in 2024 watching this and thinking that it's really bad. I feel like yes, if you don't know anything about the franchise or you've never heard it before, you didn't see it when they were in the theaters, like maybe you would think it was really bad, but it's just so in the zeitgeist. I'm surprised that anyone would rate it that low.
Yeah, and if you didn't know anything about it, then the twist at the end should hit real hard. So
right.
I don't understand. But
yeah. Well, they're wrong.
Yeah, for sure. CJ, it looks like you're looking it up. Are you fact checking?
I was looking. I wanted to see some reviews just to see what the hell they were saying about it. But yeah, it is. Some of these are back in, well, yeah, even 10 years later. Like some reviews are from 2014. And then, yeah, one review is from last year. That's so odd.
That is odd.
I don't get it. Just for fun. Well, Karissa, you're the winner, obviously. Congratulations.
Woo!
Game over.
Wow, that's the first time I've won trivia in a while. Feels good.
Oh, good. Letterboxd is 3.6. Just saying it because, you know, It doesn't really vary. It seems like I
No.
should probably just work back in the Rotten Tomatoes audience score.
Yeah.
I will say Redemption, it has a 7.6 on IMDb, which is
Okay.
very high for
Okay,
IMDb.
yeah, incredible.
Yeah. And what is the viewer rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think that was higher.
Yeah.
Higher. It would
I
have
think
to
it was in
be.
the 70s
84.
as well.
Okay.
84.
Okay. That's more like it.
Well, I
Weird.
think that brings us to our ratings. Karissa, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Saw for you?
For me. Okay, that's as good as I can do. For me, this is a solid 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I love this
Nice.
movie so much. It's obviously schlock, and so it gets a -1 for being kind of schlocky, but I love it. And I think that even though the acting is bad and some of the effects are bad and there are other bad things, on the whole, I love it. I just love it. I would recommend it to anybody to watch. It is a fun romp, and watching it, you get this peek into the zeitgeist, and you just get this cultural connection that you don't get if you haven't seen it. So highly recommend.
Nice.
Saw's budget was 1.2 million. We kept
Wow.
talking about it, which
Okay,
that
that's
is
much higher than I thought.
Higher
That's
than I
still-
expected.
pretty low for like a main movie
Hmm.
in the early aughts.
Yeah, but that's way high for what was supposed to be a direct-to-video movie. That's so
Mhm.
weird. Anyway, CJ, what would you rate Saw for you?
For me, I remember liking this even from a long time ago. 20 years, God, I'm so old. It's not really great on a rewatch because I'm just kind of waiting for the twist to happen. But I think like looking at all of the twists and the thread that this movie weaves between all of the different characters and the reveals every like few minutes or something, like it has a nice pace that you keep unraveling it over and over and over again throughout the movie. So I think this is, and it's a horror movie that I can handle, where it's not like cheap scares. I don't mind gore, so I'm fine with that. It's more of kind of like a thriller mystery kind of thing, which was fun. 7.5, maybe an 8.
Wow. Holy cow.
7.8.
Okay. Damn.
I think if you were watching this for the first time and like didn't know anything about it, I think it's a pretty good movie. Like the reveals are a lot of fun. I don't think you're at the end you're like, "Oh, come on, that's stupid." Like no, you're like, "Oh shit, that was cool." Like
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Damn.
Ken.
For me, it's I'm gonna probably be pretty close. I think an 8 or an 8.5 for me. Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy the rewatch, and I think there are some cheap scares, but they're like still pretty scary. Like whoever's in the pig mask jumping out at several different parts is for sure jump scary. But I think there's a lot of like really tense moments that we didn't even talk about, like the photographer with his camera in the dark room just taking pictures to
Mhm.
light up the room really quickly, and you get
Yeah.
the little, which is very Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like very tense moments where you aren't quite sure what's going on with like the reveals, like he's taking photographs of Lawrence in the parking garage. You find out that after you see a flash earlier on in the movie, and I don't know, there's just a lot of like well thought out. I don't know, and I was gonna try to draw a parallel between that and the like thinking in advance trap setups too.
Mhm.
But I feel like that really only comes into play in future movies. But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed the movie. I do think it works on multiple watches, and it's just a well-made movie. So 8.5 for me.
8.5.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah, I think, CJ, if you really liked the pacing and how they're unraveling this thread, I do think that you would like to watch the rest of the movies, because that's kind of it's it's like a microcosm in the one movie, but the whole series, I mean, it's just twist after reveal of a connection and a flashback, and this person is back and this person was involved the whole time. I think that you could get into it.
It's a little convoluted, and I think you probably remember from having watched some of the sequels, but it's fun. I don't know.
It's fun. Convoluted but fun, I think, is a fair assessment.
I feel like the only way you would ever kind of watch a bunch of movies in a row like that, though, is for this podcast, and there's no way we're doing 2.5 months of Saw movies, so I'm not holding my breath, but I think you would enjoy it too.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ken. The show would need to make me watch them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you watched all of the Expendables and you won't watch all the Saw movies?
Yeah,
Hello?
only 4.
Wow.
It's only 4 and they were fun.
Well, CJ, you could listen or you could watch them at like 2 times speed and it would be fine.
Okay.
Well, Karissa, thank you for joining us. Do you have anything you want to plug at the end here? Any words of wisdom?
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Words of wisdom, watch this movie, which is what I feel like I say most times. I will say that I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to plug Horror Corner last time I was on. And I'll plug it again. I'm still at it. In fact, day of this record, another newsletter will be going out immediately following the end of this call. So jump on the bandwagon if you haven't already, horrorcorner.substack.com, or follow me on the Substack app or on Instagram, where I'll be sharing all of those posts.
Yeah, and you have a specific Saw article where you like interviewed a friend seeing them for the first time. So if people want more Saw content, they can go head
more
on
Saw
over to
content.
there.
Always, my friend Kelsey, brilliant storyteller in her own right, and they discussed Jigsaw, the notorious killer, with me. So check that out if you want some more Jigsaw content.
Awesome. And next week, we're keeping Spooky Month going. Our next villain is Hannibal Lecter, and we'll be talking about Silence of the Lambs.
Have never seen it. I'll be a first time viewing for me. Yes.
Dang.
Wow. Oh, how exciting. I'm so excited to hear what you think.
I think it's going to be a good follow-up to Longlegs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Can't wait to see the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
What do we got to plug, Siege?
You can find us on all of the things at Overtalking Pod. Head on over to overtalkingpod.party to find all of our episodes with a nice search bar. Email us at overtalkingpod@gmail.com or call or text the show at USACat 1591.
Oh, no, they're here. They're wheeling in on a little tricycle.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Billy. This specific Overtalking Overlord is Billy. He's here to remind me to remind you, if you like the show, please go on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and rate and review where applicable. Reviews are what help people find this podcast. Also, we spend no money in advertising, so if you like the show, please tell a friend and spread the word. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Also, check out magicmind.com/overtalkingpod20. It's the best way to support the show right now. We would really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And they're wheeling away.
Bye-bye.
And as we always say at the end of every single episode... Game over. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. I want to tell you who was on this podcast. But first, this podcast was edited by CJ and produced by Ken and CJ. This week's special guest was Karissa. Music by Justin Peters. Logo by Nate Richards. Check out Nate's work on Instagram at Nate Richards Designs.
How's this?
Fuck me. Terrible.
I am so glad you let us hear that before we started, because that would have been upsetting.